that there is apparently no ill will between Janet Jackson and Justin Timberlake. Janet addressed the infamous Super Bowl halftime show in her two-part documentary that aired over the weekend. She said the whole thing was an accident. That should not have happened. And despite Janet taking the fall for the incident, she and Justin are very good friends to this day. She added she urged Justin not to make a statement after the incident to try and protect him. But as we know, he did, and he used the term wardrobe malfunction. I'm so confused by this. This has been going on for decades, and we've always talked about Janet Jackson taking the fall. But if it was an accident, I don't understand why it's come to this.
I think no one understands, Sam, and that's the weird thing. We've seen documentaries about, like, that woman at McDonald's that had coffee spilled on her. There are documentaries about everything. But this thing that changed the course of how we look at the FCC's power over censorship, that affected one megastar's career one way, another megastar's career the other way, two megastars that are still relevant today, and no one has any answers. No one has any more answers, really, than we had, Jeff, the moments after the Super Bowl.
Yeah, first of all, the documentary is fascinating. If you haven't watched it, check it out. We're going to talk a little bit more about it. But the part that I didn't get was the choreographer was being interviewed on this documentary. I was like, oh, there he is. They showed them rehearsing. To me, it looked like this was part of the show. The lyrics go with what's happening.
Exactly.
It might have gone too far. Maybe something
too much or something.
Too much
Right.
came out. But to me, it had to be planned. There's no way Justin Timberlake went up to anyone, but let alone Janet Jackson, and grab their wardrobe, and you think this is a good idea in your head? It had to be somehow planned in my way that went wrong. Why no one just came forward and said that? And the fact that Les Moonves got involved and Janet was blacklisted from all these different
names. The Grammys.
So many people had to step up.
Yeah.
And then Tyler Perry says it best. What is going on? Could we say that word?
Yeah, you
it's
can.
an areola.
Right.
But he says the other word.
Right.
And it's like,
it's a feeding
I was
tool.
watching, I'm like, what is the big deal? Like, this got blown way out of proportion.
And I completely agree with everything you said. I also did not know how much Les Moonves, the head of CBS at the time, really was the one to blacklist and smear Janet Jackson. He ordered Viacom, VH1, MTV, and all radio stations to not play her, not put her on the videos. I had no idea he was that angry about it, which is seemingly misogynistic in my point of view. I agree. I think it was just an accident. They should have just cleared it up. But it was before people could hit rewind. It was before TiVo or whatever you want to call it. And so it's odd that I wonder if people could just go back. I wonder if that changed the climate too.
Maybe that's the thing. Maybe it's not odd. Maybe because the reaction to this, like you guys both said, was strange.
Yeah.
You know, like it would be like if I was like, hey, Jeff, you and Jordan come over for dinner and you guys are 10 minutes late, and I'm like, I want Jeff off the show. There's something else going on. You know what I'm saying? There's no way that you could marginalize somebody like Janet Jackson, who was one of the top 15 most famous female artists, maybe still?
Top five.
Yeah. So, like, how did this happen? I think it's deeper than this. I think people saw this as an excuse to clamp down on FCC, clamp down on fines, which is how they make their money. And I just think this is way bigger than this.
I think it's sexist.
The response did not justify.
Yeah, you got to add sexism in there.
She was the victim of according to them, wardrobe malfunction.
Wouldn't it be assault, though? Wouldn't it be sexual assault if
100%.
Janet didn't know about it at all?
100%.
It would. But if they both agree it was a wardrobe malfunction, why was she the victim punished?
But we
why
don't
was
know
she
that they
banned from
agreed.
everything?
They never really said anything.
But
That's
his
the
career
weird thing.
took off and hers tanked, and that's misogyny in my mind.
But they say in the documentary, she didn't need it. He didn't need it.
Yeah.
At that time, they were both megastars.
I think Al's right. There's a deeper meaning between some of those bigger executives.
Maybe you're right.
All right, so let's keep talking about Janet, though. She also defended her late brother, Michael Jackson, in the doc. Janet said she never believed the child abuse allegations against him, saying that Michael didn't have it in him to abuse a child. She did say she was guilty by association and lost a multi-million-dollar deal with Coca-Cola in the process. She also said the relationship started to become strained after the success of his album Thriller. She also thought recording the song Scream together would bring them closer, but it didn't because they shot the video separately, and Janet was even blocked from his set. Wow. Tori, what did you make of their relationship and then also her defending and not believing that Michael could abuse a child?
I didn't think she'd go the other way, so that didn't really surprise me. I thought she'd either stay mute on it or say defend him. I think it's so interesting that the Jackson 5 with Joe Jackson started off so close. Like, they were so close, and by the end, they couldn't even get into each other's houses. Like, the teams not them. Like, I don't think it was Michael. She's saying the teams kept us apart. And that's what you do when you have money on your hands, right? I want to keep it here. I want to keep it there.
Tori, could Donnie Osmond's team and Marie Osmond's team keep them apart? Your team can't do anything you're not telling them to do.
Not when you start. I guess they did.
They've been famous a long time.
And same with Donnie Marie. You're right.
And
That's interesting.
You're saying Michael knew and
I'm just saying that there's no, like, I could never hire a team that'd be like, yeah, don't talk to Sam after work. Like, what? Who are you talking to?
Yeah, but it's like
how did that?
It's like a cult type of situation,
It seems
right?
like
if
it.
someone's telling you what you want to hear and disparaging, don't talk to Tori. She wants you off the show. She wants this. And all of a sudden there's 30 people around me who I'm feeding, by the way, are telling me, hey, Tori's bad news, don't talk to her. Then all of a sudden you get this separation. That's what I think. This was before social media. So those people are, in sense, some of the social media people. I think people get in, their heads get too big. They get wrapped up into their social media followers, and they start listening to them instead of people who love them.
Right. This is your brother.
I'm your brother. I know you don't do that. You're brainwashed almost in some sort of way, and I think maybe that happened to Michael or maybe a little bit to Janet. When you're that big, it's tough to stay grounded.
Could it be that the family was just dysfunctional? And it had nothing to do with surrounding yourself by yes people? I mean, if you watch Paris Jackson, and I know Paris is separate from the family in the sense that, you know, generationally she came later, but if you watch her interview on Red Table Talk, I believe it's her only like long form interview, she goes on to say, and she was very careful with her statement, that she only sees her family, meaning Michael's side of the family, like at a holiday or a family reunion, and that's it. And they don't really even celebrate, she said, holidays because most of them are Jehovah's Witnesses. Right. So it seems like that there's a lot of pain and dysfunction within the family. I'm sure Hollywood had a lot to do with that, but I think it's more layered than just surrounding yourself with yes people, because look at Marie and Donnie, to your point.
They've been as famous as you can be for as long as you can be. And I just think
they seem grounded.
Right, exactly. I think there's just things that have been
the way you're raised,
happening here for a long time. And obviously Joe Jackson was accused of some things too. We do not have time to get into, but I just think it's sad overall. It kind of reminds me of a larger Britney Spears situation, just a dysfunctional family from the seed that's in the ground, and what we see now is from that.
Well said.